Hey y'all, what's going on? This is Jesse Boat from the 19th hole. Going to be doing holes 1 through 9 for the new Shiruba Springs course, and this will be for Tour 5, so the rookies. This is how I play the holes. There definitely probably are other ways to play these holes, but these are the ways that I saw would be good ways to play them that I felt would put you in good position to get some drops. So we got hole number 1 here. Par 4, we're playing this one with a 10% here. To play it up to the right hand side, you want to play it with a driver with a good amount of topspin. You want to try to get as far up that right edge as possible without going into that bunker on the left or the rough on the right. This does seem to be a great proof shot as long as you're aiming it consistently and you adjust for your wind properly on the initial shot. So for the second shot, it's going to definitely depend on where you play it. From the position I'm playing it at, I played it at 0% elevation. Now, if you play it farther up that hill, then you start making it into more of an uphill shot, so maybe like a -5, -10%. We're going to play this one with a sniper. We go with a couple bars of backspin here on the shot and just try to straighten out that ball guide to the hole. You don't need any kind of specialized ball on this hole. A Power 1 Quasar or Navigator would be fine. You could even go with a Marlin ball if you wanted to as well. Just make sure you hit perfect, which is the case on any hole that we play. And as you can see, we come up here and we got pretty close to dropping this one. Not too bad of a try for one of our initial tries on the hole. So we got hole 2 here, par 3, playing this one at plus 20% with a long iron. We're going to be playing this one at mid-distance of our club. As you can see, we're right there about the middle of our min and max, so we'll play mid here. We're going to use a little bit of backspin and right spin just to straighten up this ball guide here. Put a little bit of backspin to the shot, and you want to make sure you get the ball where you're not glitched. As you can see, when I was on that front part of the edge of the green, my ball guide kind of glitched to the right, so you want to be just back behind that glitch. You're going to make your adjustment here. Plus 20% of 1 miles per hour was not much. But anyways, we hit it perfect. It comes in nicely. We get the bounce. We have that nice roll and hit it dead center of the pin at 20% elevation for the downhill shot. So very happy with the results there on that hole. All right, hole number 3 is next. And it is a par 5. Now, we're going to be playing plus 10% on our drive here. And there's a couple ways I think that you can play this hole if you wanted to. I'm going to be playing it pretty much with a shot to the left-hand side. You can go straight and bounce over with topspin, but I'm trying to get as far down that fairway as I can. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to use a curl shot from the left-hand side. If you have better clubs, you also could go with a higher power ball and just go straight over that rough. But if you have lower level clubs, you have a wind that's not very nice, then you can play the shot like I'm playing it. So I played it plus 10%, and we're trying to give ourselves a chance just to kind of clip over this rough and then roll out down that fairway. So I go with a little bit of overpower, but not much, and then the full amount of right curl that I could use with the extra mile 5. As you see, we made it over quite easily, actually. And we put ourselves in a really nice position for a second shot at the pin. So, not a second shot at the pin, my bad. So, we're going to play the shot to the left-hand side. You can try to play it to the right-hand side. You definitely should probably have a wood club with better range than I have here. And you could possibly try to go to the right with a good amount of curl and hook. I didn't have that option, so I'm going left. And I'm just trying to get up and around to the front part of this fairway as best as I can. So you don't want too much topspin because you don't want to go too far and into the rough. For that reason, we're going to use our full right curl with regular power shot, and we hit this one perfect. It's going to come in really nice, and it's going to give me a really good chance to possibly drop this shot from this location. Now for the third shot here, you're either going with a wood or a long iron, most likely. And what I played here was 0% elevation on this shot. So as you can see, I'm right there at min range for my long iron. If we had a tailwind, then we'd probably be playing this shot more at max range for for our short iron, or you could try to play it in long iron and just use a little bit more backspin. So we used the backspin here, we got this one lined up. We're going to make our adjustment here at 5.1. We're playing 0% on this adjustment. I feel like it's a pretty flat from one point to the next point. And we hit, we bounce, and we roll, and we drop it, dead center of the cup. So 0% worked for me on that shot. So we played 10% on the drive, 10% on the second shot, and then we played 0% on the third shot going to the left side. Alright, hole 4 here, plus 10% for your elevation. You're going to use about 4 to 5 bars of right spin and then 1 to 3 bars of backspin depending on the wind. We went with 5 right spin here on the shot. Probably should have only gone with about 4 with the left to right wind, maybe even less. But you got to use the right spin to avoid aiming too close to that bunker. I don't like aiming close to that bunker because you don't want to ever have to worry about a great right going into the bunker on a par 3. So that's the reason why I went with 5 bars of right spin. But I think we could have gone with 4. Would have been the better way to play this one. It comes in, it bounces, and it's going to be a pretty good amount right to the right of the pin. So this is definitely a hole that we need to work on dialing in our spins a little bit more and maybe look at a different landing spot for the shot. But I feel that about 10% is a good adjustment for this hole as far as the elevation goes. So I guess we're going to watch Gus Bus take his shot, playing it with the basic ball. The only problem with the basic ball is you don't have the ability to add that side spin. So you really got to have a club that has a good amount of curl on it. And it just makes things very tough when you cannot side spin on your shot. So this is definitely a hole where you need some side spin. So Quasar or Katana ball would, in my opinion, be the way to go as far as the ball goes. Alright, we move on to our next hole, hole number 5, I believe. Yep, I think 5 is next. Alright, so the way we're going to be playing hole number 5 is off the tee box. We're going to be playing a 0%. We're going to be playing it to the left-hand side, and we want to drive it up this left-hand side far enough where we get past that light post that's kind of in between the fairway on the left and the fairway on the right. You can see that light post in the middle. You want to get up and past that light post. If you're able to get past that light post, then you have a pretty good shot on the hole. If you don't get past that light post, then you have to deal with a little bit more of a tight shot to the hole. So with a tailwind here, we have plenty of room from our landing zone in that rough line. We can make our adjustment here, and then we can push back up to max adjustment here for this shot, and still know we have plenty of room to land this shot. Quasar ball, hit perfect. Don't really need any overpower on this hole. With the wind that we had, we didn't. With a headwind, you may want a little bit of overpower, but I won't expect any kind of a headwind as far as the tournament goes for rookies. Alright, so for our second shot here, we're playing plus 10%. As you can see, I would like to use a wood here, so we're a little bit far for our wood. So we're going to end up having to go with the long iron here, which is not what I wanted to do, but sometimes you have to make a change and go with what you can play. So we're going to use our right spin here just to straighten out that ball guide and try to have our ball guide pointed toward the hole as best as we can see it straight at the hole right there. And then we're going to make our adjustment here at plus 10% for our elevation change. We hit this one perfect, we hit the bounce, and we get the roll, and we're going to drop it dead center of the cup. So that is very important. So I would definitely say yes, plus 10% for the elevation on that second shot. Alright, so our next hole is hole number 6. And we're going to be playing plus 10% on the drive for hole number 6. And this is an interesting hole. There may be some other ways to play this hole. I'm going to show you how I played this hole. I'm going to be playing a shot with my my extra mile, And we're just going to use a katana ball because we want that 3-side spin. We're going to go with top spin and left spin here, max left spin for sure. And then we're going to play with our yellow ring right there on the edge of the rough line. This kind of gives us the ability to grate proof our shot. So from here, we're going to make our adjustment here. This would work really well with a straight tailwind or a right to left tailwind. So max left curl, which is not a whole lot with the extra mile 5. We do hit great left. And you're going to see it comes in nicely, and it's going to bounce perfectly over onto the rough. So if you have a driver with a little bit more curl than I have, it would be absolutely perfect to play the shot this way. But as you can see, it still works with the extra mile 5 as well. So from here, you definitely want to have the big dog, you know, a wood club with a good amount of distance, because you got to play this bounce over shot. If you're able to get farther over down the fairway on the drive, then you may have a chance to possibly go for the rough bump here. But I think this is going to be the general way most people are going to be playing this hole, is a bounce over shot with the big dog. We played plus 10% here on this shot. As you can see, I just put my yellow ring right there on the edge of the rough line. That's an easy way to remember where to line up my shot. We'll go with a little bit of left curl, and we hit this one perfect. And it's going to come in real nice, and not a bad attempt on this hole, but that's going to be an easy eagle. You know, some people will play that drive straight forward short, but it's just something I wanted to try to play to the right-hand side, and it ended up working out, so I figured I'd show you that way. All right, hole number 7 here. This one is going to be a very interesting hole, and you can play it either to the right or to the left. You're going to see me play this one to the left. What we're going to be doing is we're going to be bouncing it off the left over the rough, and we're just trying to get it down that fairway as far as we can to set ourselves up for a second shot towards the hole. So I'm using a Quasar here. You could definitely use a Titan ball if you wanted to and get it farther down, but definitely not completely necessary if you don't want to. We're going to push up our shot here with the tailwind for that maximum distance, and we are playing this one at plus 20% for our elevation change, and you see it bounces nicely and down the fairway very nicely with the extra mile 5. So for our second shot here, we're playing this one at 0%. Actually, no, we're going to be playing this one at 10%. You know, it seems like it's downhill here, so we're playing it at 10%. We're playing it with our long iron, as you can see. We're finding our min, and then we're going to find our max distance here, so we can see where we're going to play this shot at. And, you know, pretty much, we ended up playing this one at pretty much 75%. You want to go with a little bit of backspin, just because going downhill, that ball's going to have a tendency to jump a little bit farther once it hits that fairway and bounces forward. So you got to have a little bit of backspin to kind of give your ball a little bit of a chance to stop. We line the shot up. Oh, we hit great to the right. We hit great to the right. As you can see, it comes in really nice. I really believe a perfect would have been in the hole, so I would definitely stick with plus 10% for the elevation for that second shot, playing it to the left-hand side. There is a way to play the shot to the right-hand side. I don't have that one, but I'm sure you can probably find it on some other people's videos if you would like to play it to that way. I feel like playing it to the left gives me this nicest and straightest opportunity at the hole, which is why I suggest playing it to the left. All right, so our next hole is going to be hole number 8. I believe that is our third par 3. And we'll be playing our third par 3 at plus 10%. We're playing it with a long iron. Oh, no, okay, maybe I am going to show you the shot to the right. Okay, I forgot I had done this shot. So I am going to show you a shot to the right, going for the rough bump. We're actually going to rough bump it twice here, if I remember correctly. So for this shot here, we're playing it with the quarterback, and we'll be playing plus 20% for the downhill, and then we'll be playing our second shot with the Viper. I think the second shot would be better played with the sniper, but we have the Viper in this bag. Now you can play the bounce over shot with the backspin, but I wanted to make sure my ball stopped, so that's why I decided to just rough bump it out onto the fairway to make sure it stopped and we didn't roll through. So just a little bit of topspin just to make sure your ball's coming out of the rough and onto the fairway. You don't need to do anything special or or drastic here on this hole. Just bounce it out onto the fairway. So from the fairway position right here, we're going to have a straight shot at the rough bump. Be playing at plus 25%. With the Viper, ball guide's not going to be as great as playing with the Sniper. And as you can see, we're pretty much playing this one just at max, maybe max minus 0.1 or 0.2 would be the appropriate adjustment for this hole. So we're going to go with topspin here. Just about 1 bar topspin. As you can see, the ball guide not quite there, but that's okay. We don't have a fully developed ball guide on this club, and we're playing plus 25%, just a little bit below max numbers for the adjustment. We hit this one perfect. It's going to come in nicely, bounce on the rough, and it rolls up to the hole. I think this will be another great way to play this hole. If you're comfortable with rough bumps, this will definitely be a great way to play it. If you're not, then I'd play it to the left, which is the initial way that I showed you. All right, now we got hole 8 here, and this is a par 3. We'll be playing this one at max adjustment here. There's chances you could go for a rough bump here with the correct club and maybe a little bit higher level of a ball. Maybe a Goliath rough bump there on this hole. I don't have the club, and I don't have the ball on this account. So we're playing the max backbone shot. We went with 3 backspin, 3 left spin. We're going to aim our shot at the hole as best as we can, and then we're going to make our adjustment here, which is 1.3 miles per hour plus 10% max adjustment on this shot, which luckily for me is not a whole lot of adjustment. We are going to hit this one great to the right. It's still going to come in pretty nicely, and the speed wasn't terrible, and a perfect ball would have been very close. The accuracy on the backbone is pretty high, so that would have been a pretty close shot with a perfect. So definitely something I think that we can move forward on and work with as far as that adjustment goes. All right, our last and final hole, number 9 here. We're playing this one with plus 10% elevation on the drive, and be playing this one with the big topper. You could use the extra mile, but I think the big topper is a great club to use here because it's a min big topper shot. Now, if we have a tailwind, then you have a chance with the extra mile to play the shot completely over that rough, and that's probably going to be the way to go if you have a tailwind, because trying to make that adjustment may not be very easy with a tailwind. So it may push us to try to fly that rough with an extra mile and like a power 3 ball. But as long as we have a headwind or a side wind, we can play that min big topper adjustment, and that's what I would do. So for our second shot here, we'll be playing plus 10% again. Definitely want a wood club with distance, and somewhere between, I would say, 4 to 5 topspin on this shot. Just depends on how risky you want to get on this shot. I'm going to play my orange ring halfway into the rough line, and we're going to use a little bit of curl on this shot. I'm perfectly happy to stop this shot in front of the green and then chip it in with my wedge. I would definitely caution you to go at it really hard, because the green does slope down quite a bit from the back, and if you do go back beyond that green, it is going to slow down into the rough, so it makes it a very difficult chip from back there in the rough. So personally, I would suggest play this shot for the front of the green, and if you want to try to add a little bit of topspin at a time and try to dial it in a little bit more to possibly maybe get really lucky and drop this shot, then do that. But I think an albatross here was definitely going to be a very lucky hit if you can get it. And I missed the shot on purpose there, trying to get to shootouts. But anyways, thank you all very much. Hopefully you all enjoyed this. At least you can use this as some good information as far as getting into the weekend and practicing these new holes. This is the Shiruba Springs course, and this is part of the Winter Major Tournament that is going to start on Monday. So good luck to y'all, and have a great day. God bless.